Kurt, I'm shooting up testosterone for my HRT therapy because I have to say that otherwise people think I'm doing heroin because I'm fucking crazy. Um, I just wanted, well, something crazy that I did today. One, my shoot up day changed because I was out of tea and then couldn't get it until Wednesday and shot up immediately. And then now it's Thursday because I forgot to shoot up yesterday. And the thing I'm gonna blame on that is I did something fucking insane this morning, and I don't know if anyone will ever see it, but if they do, they're gonna be really perplexed by either my sanity or theirs. Um, I decided this morning ingeniously to email the Clay Mathematics Institute with the headline, I don't want your money, comma, P equals NP, and then my ingenious proof, a line that said, Einstein was a strict determinist, and then it said, omniscience is not equal to ignorance. You were right in that respect. The next time someone asks a question and begs it in the same paper, they should get their um there should be an academic integrity violation filed against them. Because that's what Stephen Cook did. He wrote a paper asking the question if P was equal to NP and then said, oh, well, it's probably not equal. And then everyone went on their little merry way thinking, I guess this man is correct and it's probably not equal for all of these reasons. And now we're where we are today, where some crazy dudes just emailing the Clay Mathematics Institute, the institution that has put up $1 million prize for solving whether or not P is equal to NP, with the crazy thing that says rainbow tables for 3-sat, therefore P equals NP, QED, checkmate, motherfuckers, and that probably would never happen if not for Stephen Cook and him having begged the question that he asked in the same paper. So I suppose I'm saying thank you to Stephen Cook for either making me the most insane person on the face of the planet that knows what P and NP are, or the smartest person on the planet who knows what P and NP is. But I think everyone's pretty smart and has something to contribute, so I also know that I know nothing, which is pretty important to know. That's my favorite self-referential paradox. Oh my god, speaking of self-referential shit, I just think it would be really cool if someone made a movie such that it was a cartoon and it could be like an anthology, so not the loosely related cartoons, and how they're loosely related is it's a cartoon that watches a cartoon that watches a cartoon that watches a cartoon that watches a cartoon, and then like the last cartoon finishes watching their cartoon and you jump back, and then they finish watching their cartoon and they jump back, and eventually you get back to the first cartoon having finished watching their cartoon. But there's a bunch of stuff that happens before they watch their cartoon, and then there could be a bunch of stuff that happens after they watch their cartoon before you recurse back up. I just think it would be really pretty, and someone should do it. But I can't draw, it's one of my fatal flaws. I get too anxious. Um, I tried to take an art class one time in middle school, and I used to like come up with my art assignment and draw it all out, and it would be like done, like completely satisfied the requirements of the assignment, and I would be like, no, it's not good enough, and I would rip it to shreds. This is why I am not an artist. Instead, I still do the same thing when I write code. Um, if the code's not good enough, I'll just change it all. And sometimes I do it like right before I go live. I'll be like, wait, this is not doing the right thing. And I'll change it all. in a day. And I had worked on the wrong way for like multiple days and tested it and was like, okay, no, this is how it's gonna happen. And that's my fr- that, my friends, is how Kurt comes up with shitty designs, and eventually I have to refine them. It took me a while in industry because I don't speak like everyone else to understand what they really wanted, and what they really want is for me to come up with the best design that solves their problem, even if it's not what they think is the best design. Because either way, if it's something that they came up with or something that they didn't come up with, in the end, they're only going to be happy with me if it's something that they like. Anyway. Now I just give people what they want instead of what they think they want. That's the way to go through life, folks. Find a good balance. Do what Steve Jobs did, where he's like, you don't know what you want, I know what you want, but also some take some design considerations from your customer. Just don't do exactly what they think you should do. Do what you think you should do, but it encapsulates everything that they need and desire. Get the list of things that are absolutely necessary for it to be considered complete, and then do the best thing for that. And never put your ego above the best thing. If you come up with an idea and it turns out it's shit because it doesn't fully encapsulate what you're trying to get at, then let that idea go. You get a better idea. Don't hold on to one idea just because you had it. God damn, if I held on to every single bad idea I had, I would still be a cis woman, thinking that was a okay way to live my life. Obviously not. Sometimes you have to have this thing called self-doubt, and that's the journey we're on, ladies and gentlemen and non-binaries. This journey of self-doubt. The more you doubt yourself, the faster you're going to grow. So today, if you're watching this and you've gotten this far and you aren't saying, oh my god, this dude's fucking insane, I'd like you to doubt two things. One, whether or not it is sane to label babies with just cisgender markers at birth instead of chromosomes or something that's actually valid, or and two, whether or not P is probably not equal to NP, or whether or not Kurt is right and that omniscience isn't equal to ignorance. But if you give the DTM the same knowledge the NTM has, namely how to choose the correct answer, only give it the one correct state or a bad state if there exists no correct state, then with the rainbow table, it's equivalent. And really, whether or not it's determined that you make that decision or you choose to determine it, it doesn't really matter. Because in the end, once the NTM's done the thing, it has been determined that they've done it. It can only be in one state at any given time. And once they're in that state, they're in that state. I'm saying there because I'm a machine functionalist, and I think that NTMs are what we are. And I think that MTMs are just a set of DTMs over time. And if you have a large delta in what your DTMs are, constantly changing, then you're probably going to have a better DTM than if you just stick with the same old, same old. You'll never change. You'll never grow. So anyway, embrace change. And if anyone tells you that trans kids can't get their puberty, can't get HRT and puberty blockers because they're too young, please inform them that if they are getting puberty that is cis puberty, aka endogenous puberty, aka it goes through the body, that is irreversible. And if I'm too young to know that I'm trans, um, I'm probably too young to know that I'm cis too. And you can't really resolve it because you can only be on hormone blockers for so long, puberty blockers for so long without being on HRT. Otherwise, it is sterilizing. So, we just have to have hope and faith that the people that are getting trans puberty are, in fact, who they say they are and are trans kids, so they only have to go through one puberty instead of two. Like me, I had to grow tits, and now I can't even take my shirt off and walk around in public because I have tits. Which also, why can't women take their shirts off and walk around in public, but men can? Like, men have man tits too. They're distracting. What the fuck, guys? It's just because you sexualize women and it's fucked up, but it's not the way it has to be. Like, tits are fine, but I shouldn't have had to grow them, and I should have had my puberty, my trans puberty. And if it so happens that a cis kid gets trans puberty, aka puberty blockers and HRT, and then they have to detransition or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I don't really like that. They have to go through two puberties, a trans puberty and then a cis puberty instead of just a cis puberty, well, so be it, because I had to go through two puberties. And you telling me that trans kids can't get their puberty because, like, cis kids might get the wrong puberty forces every single trans kid into the wrong puberty. And that's just fucked. That's messed up. I don't know who you're talking to or you think that's okay, but it's not okay. That's pretty much all I want to say. Those two things. Those are my two paradigm shifts. I can be fucking crazy. I don't care because I know that I'm right. And there's never going to be a time where I'm not right about these two things. There's times where I'm not right about tons of shit. It just how so happens that these two things that I'm saying, I'm never going to be wrong on. I'm always going to be right. And it's just going to take time for people to come to the conclusion that, oh my god, maybe Kurt knows something that he's talking about, and maybe it's because Einstein, I don't know, was a strict determinist or something, and maybe it makes sense that DTMs are equal to NTMs because of that, and maybe we should have just listened to Spinoza. Just listen to Spinoza. You don't have to listen to me. I'm done about this. This is stupid. I'm gonna give a presentation, a keynote on 4/20/2022, and on 4/20/22, I'm gonna give a keynote that's gonna be the end of my reign on the P versus NP problem. I solved it. It's equal. I'm trying to resolve P space and P now. I'm moving on to the next thing. You guys don't have to believe me, but I know that it's rainbow tables. It's pretty obvious. You guys are comparing apples to oranges, but omniscience isn't equal to ignorance. You're correct in that respect. However, if you share knowledge, knowledge is power, which is the name of my keynote, actually. Knowledge is power for 2022. Well, then DTM's equal NTMs. I'll talk about log time when we get there, but I get where you guys are coming from. Verifier versus determiner. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get